The Chicago Bears still need to address depth in the trenches on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. And especially after the last few seasons, very heavy injury list on the offensive side of the trenches that even led to rookie at the time, right tackle Darnell Wright playing with one arm against all-pro edge rusher Max Crosby, which he held his own and the Bears won that game. But many say to win in the NFL, you have to win in the trenches. And as a Bears fan, we all know that too well, especially being one of the worst offensive lines over the last 15 years. With nearly $6.3 million left in cap at the moment, the Chicago Bears can sign a depth piece for the trenches on either side of the ball. And I don't think enough folks are talking about the fact that we need offensive line depth, because right now our current offensive line, left tackle Braxton Jones, Karan Amagaji, and Jake Curran, along with left guard Teven Jenkins and Jatri Carter, center Ryan Bates, Coleman Shelton, and Doug Kramer, right guard only Nate Davis, and right tackle Darnell Wright, Larry Borum, and Matt Pryor. Does anything sound wrong there? Yes, it does. We literally have no guards on this team. And there are plenty in free agency that the Bears can go out and get. And yes, Bates and Shelton can go out and switch back and forth. But with the injury history of this team, we need all the centers that we can get for the Chicago Bears. So I would love for the Bears to go out and get a depth piece. Bring in offensive guard Dalton Risner, who actually was on my radar last year as a late signing to add to depth and is back on my radar again. A solid veteran who knows the game, the league, and how to be a solid piece for this team, and he would be huge. Next man up mentality if someone on the interior went down. So a little bit about Dalton. He's 28 years old and played 5 years in the NFL so far. Last year with the Minnesota Vikings, but 4 years prior with the Denver Broncos. He was the 41st pick in the 2019 draft by the Broncos back when, and he honestly was a solid performer when playing in Denver. Standing at 6'5", 312 pounds, he is a huge interior guard, but the main fact is Ryan Poles loves his big athletic offensive lineman, especially considering he was one himself. And when he was with the Broncos, he was a solid piece for that team for a super long time with playoff pushes. Went to the Vikings last year on a late camp deal, and I feel like he'll do the same thing with the Chicago Bears. He had a PFF grade of 57.1, but it doesn't speak to what this guy did on the field. I thought he was a very solid player for the Vikings last year because he wasn't a consistent starter. He came in late to camp and overall just had to be a leader and get to know these guys on a short notice, but still did a fantastic job. And before I continue more into Dalton's stance, we're celebrating the success of Caleb Williams so far by giving away a jersey to one lucky viewer. Like this video, comment your favorite Chicago Bears player ever, could be from any year, any team, any sort of situation, and subscribe to the channel. That's where I'll be checking for the winner. Winner will be announced during my first video back from my work trip on May 20th. So his stats last year with Minnesota, 745 offensive snaps. He only had 3 penalties during that time, which not bad at all. That's a 0.004% penalty rate, something I wish the Chicago Bears had for all of their guys. And he had 0 sacks allowed in 11 starts for the Vikings. Vikings went against some pretty tough interior defensive lines over the year, and he still held his own, especially not knowing the offense. Playing in random snaps and still not giving up 1 sack is super darn impressive. Now, before I get more into Dalton, make sure to go out and get your Freshie today. Today's show is sponsored by Freshie Organic Tequila Seltzer, 99 calories of the best seltzer based out of Chicago. Go to the link in the description below to find Freshie near you to get a buy one, get one deal. So last year, he signed a 1-year, $3 million deal with the Vikings with a $1.375 million signing bonus and $2.625 million guaranteed. So overall, pretty cheap deal for a guy who gave up 0 sacks and no penalties, and only on the books for a year when the Bears have a cap like that and can still have some left over in order to go out and get another veteran. A pretty good deal. Like, I think the Vikings got a total bang for their buck, and I would love to see the Chicago Bears bring in this signing because of the fact that he's young, he doesn't get penalized, can hop in when needed, and be a leader for this locker room. Thank you, as always, for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. A quick one for you guys, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts if you would want Dalton to join the Chicago Bears. I think he'd be a fantastic addition, and I want to hear from you guys too. But with that, thank you, as always, for tuning in to Just Another Year Chicago Bears. Can't wait to be back on you guys and also back with you guys and make sure that we have awesome Bears news coming up. But with that, I want to hear it loud and proud. Bear down, baby.